Hello, everybody coming in. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. Welcome, welcome. We'll just give people a few minutes to come in. And if you'd like to write in the chat while we're waiting, maybe where you're from, please feel free to introduce yourself. Oh, sorry. I think the chat now the chat should be enabled. Please welcome. We'll just give everyone 1 or 2 more minutes before we get started. Hello, hello Nazmoon from Bangladesh. Hello Shamima. I know you were also there last week. Thank you for coming back again. Hello, assalamu alaikum. No, that's a greeting, I think. Hello, Fatima. Hi, Tamina. Hi, Miriam from Egypt. Chow from Kenya, one of our winners from the Africa region. I guess she's scoping out the competition. Hello, Miriam. Hello, Tista. Nice to see Tista is here from Nepal. Welcome, Tista. Okay, see, we're almost up to 50 people. Let's just wait 1 more minute to let people come in and then we'll start. Hello, Banag Shah from Iran. Welcome. Zara, also from Iran. Hello, Parnima from India. And Johanna is one of our speakers. Okay, I think that we can go ahead and get started. So good afternoon to everybody. I think it's afternoon for most of you. It's actually morning for us here in Italy. And I've seen we have at least a few people from Africa also, so I think it would be also morning for you. Uh, so whatever time it is for you, thank you so much for joining us today. And we want to welcome you to the Asia Pacific and Arab region session of the Short Talks Big Impacts competition, which is organized by us here at OWSD, the Organization for Women in Science for the Developing World. We're very excited to have you with us today. This is the third of these regional competitions, and we have 16 incredible women scientists from across Asia and the Arab region, which is the most participants we've actually had so far in one session. And we also, I think, had the most people interested in participating in this session. So maybe we'll have to organize another one soon. And this is actually the last of our regional competitions before we go into the big grand finale competition next Friday, where the winners from all three regional sessions will each present again in front of a panel of judges to determine our global winners. So we already have three winners from Africa and three winners from Latin America and the Caribbean. And today we'll discover who from Asia and the Arab region will go on to compete in the finale. So I'd like to introduce myself. I am Erin Johnson, and I work at the OAS Secretariat right now, mostly on our early career fellowship program and also on our awards program, and also a little bit on communications. And I'm here today with my colleague Zabi Ula Sahil, who works on the Wisdom Fellowship and the PhD Fellowship, and also a bit on communication. So Sahil, you can wave if you like. There's Sahil. And so, for a little bit of background as to why we decided to host this series of competitions, we know that it's critical for scientists to be able to communicate their research clearly, especially when it comes to making research that is sometimes very complex, accessible to different kinds of people that might not have a scientific background, or people, sometimes have this image of scientists tinkering away in a lab, and they don't really understand how that relates to their lives, their everyday lives, or big policy issues that affect them. And at OWSD, we have more than 10,000 members, and we know that all of you are working to solve big issues and challenges in your communities and in the world. But sometimes being able to communicate that effectively is almost as important as the research itself. It can help you when you're trying to convince policymakers about a particular issue, or to convince the communities that you work with, or to raise awareness in the public about an issue. And also when you're trying to convince funders to give you more money for your research. And in most of these circumstances, you don't necessarily have a lot of time to get your point across. So it's very important to develop the skills to be able to describe your research and to make people understand why it's important in a very short time. As we say, the elevator pitch, the 1 or 2 minute elevator pitch. So what we want to focus on here today is to give you the opportunity to really get to the heart of why it's important, what impact does your research have, and why should people care? So that's what we're going to do today. And now I'll pass it over to Sahil, who will explain a little bit about how the presentations and the timing and the voting will work.
Thank you, Aaron. Absolutely. It is so inspiring to see how many of you have registered for today's session. This really highlights the strength and growth of our OWSD community. We received several applications from talented researchers, and we are so excited that you are all joining us to hear the amazing work being done in science and research across the continent. So as you would have noticed now, these 16 women, we have 16 participants that will be presenting their research, and they will have only 3 minutes to do it. I know it's a challenge, but it is an exciting challenge. But it also makes us focus on what really matters. What difference does your research make in the world? And we encourage you to listen closely and consider how these presentations connect to the global issue that impact us all. So here is how the session will run. After a brief introduction of each presenter, which Aaron will kindly do the introduction of each presenter, they will each have exactly 3 minutes to share their research with us. We will be keeping track of time. You will see a little timer that will be shown on my profile photo on top. So no worries. Anyway, you will have to focus on your research and its impact while we will take care of the timer and the timing. Once all the presentations are completed, the audience, which we have connected so many of you right now, you will have the chance to vote for your favorite presentation based on clarity, engagement, and how well they communicated the potential global impact of their research. We'll be using a poll that will be integrated here in the webinar. And so you should see that there when the time comes, you will see the poll itself, and you can vote for your favorite presenter. And you will only vote one presentation at the end. What does it mean? Let me explain it a bit further. Maybe once all the presentations will be completed, you will see the names of all the presenters, and we will also show a slide with all the photos, so you can really connect the faces to the presenters, and you can vote based on what you are listening, and you are also taking some notes. So we suggest that you take notes at the same time, because you will have the poll shown only once at the end of all presentations, and not separately at the end of each presentation. That is it from my side, and I'll pass it back to Erin, so maybe she can proceed with the presentations itself.
Thank you, Sahil. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to get started with the presentations. And our lucky first presenter is Madiha Masood Makhdoom from Pakistan. Uh, Pakistan is a country where we have a very active national chapter. We have more than 360 members there who organize many, many events for women scientists in Pakistan. So if you're here with us today from Pakistan and you're not already part of the national chapter, I definitely encourage you to check out what they're doing. Actually, I'll post in the chat a little YouTube video that they made of all their activities last year in 2024. And Maria is a physicist. I think she's our only physicist today. And I think that physicists might face an even steeper challenge uh, than most scientists in making their research intelligible to the common person. And I will be honest, Madiha, I had trouble even to understand the title of your research, so I'm just going to read it. It's the embedding of uh, BAF, which I think is barium fluoride.
Fluoride.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In a solid matrix of parahydrogen, pH 2, at cryogenic temperatures. So now Madia has the
Good to
task of
explain.
making us understand what that means. So over to you,
Yeah.
Madia.
Okay, hi. My time starts now? Yeah. Okay. Basically, starting from this is imagine if we are uncovering a tiny secret about electrons could someday transform how we power our homes, protect our planet, or even build next generation supercomputers. Basically, my research dives into measuring these electron electric dipole moments, checking it's basically round or tilted, slightly tilted. It's basically when we say something related to electron, we say that it's very small, minute measurements, but such precise measurements can hint us into the hidden laws of nature, opening doors to new technologies and guiding us towards a deeper understanding of our nature universe. And when the question arises, why is it this matter? Because understanding the fundamental properties of electron is key to harnessing that energy and its behavior to the way we can revolutionize this technology. If we see, we have right now, we have where this is going is quantum computing, a field that has power to solve problems far beyond the reach of today's best computer. Quantum computer, basically, what are they? They rely on strange and delicate properties of particles, small particles like electron, protons, and measuring them with extreme precision, we can open door to more stable and powerful quantum technologies. Basically, imagine faster drug discoveries. We can make more drugs and for solving the different problems, and ultra secure communication. Right now we have problem with the like security, and then solving the energy challenges, like making it viable for everyone. And to make this basically precise measurements, which what we our team is doing is we have an innovative approach. We trap these molecules, which are barium molecules, into an ultra cold environment, which is form of hydrogen. And just think it like placing a delicate flower in a bubble. And then we say that in a bubble, the flower has no interaction to its outside, and we force it to that it is not disturbed externally. This will allow us to study when we put the electron into that bubble. We say that this will allow us to study the electron in its purest form and leading to accurate results. And while doing this research, it is about exploring fundamental science. Its impact goes beyond the lab. Many of the technologies which we see these days is GPS, MRI machines, and even smartphones, which we are using, exist because of the big breakthrough in physics that once we thought that they are just some wise man's dream, or we say that they are purely theoretical. But when the boundaries were pushed, we see that now the robots are coming and we can create new opportunities for innovations that can improve lives. After all, sometimes the smallest discoveries lead to biggest transformation. Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you
It
so
was,
much, Madiha. That was really, I loved so much the metaphor of the flower in the bubble. I think it was a really beautiful way of envisioning these things that are very tiny and hard to envision at that scale.
right, yeah, yeah.
Um, so thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
giving me the
it's
opportunity to
an,
come.
an excellent
But
job of communicating physicists to physics to non-physicists. Yeah.
yeah, but we are living in the world of physics, basically, we say
Yes,
that.
it's true, and you really realize it when you put it that way. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to our next presenter, we have Anuradha Paramunugamaj from Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka is also a country where we have a quite active national chapter, OS national chapter. We have more than 230 members there. And we also have a huge number of early career fellows from Sri Lanka. We have 12, which is more than any other country, well, tied with Tanzania, for the most early career fellows. And we've also had an awardee from Sri Lanka for our OS, the awards that we give every year with the Elsevier Foundation. Um, we've had one awardee from Sri Lanka every year for, I think, the last 5 years. So clearly, there's something in the water there that's producing excellent scientists. And Anuradha is going to present her research today on how she's trying to design a framework that can help students to take better advantage of technologies in order to improve their learning. So please, Anuradha, let's hear about that.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Making a difference through collaborative learning in Moodle. Education is not just about acquiring knowledge, it's about learning together, solving problems, and preparing for a future where collaboration is the key. That's where my work and research come in. With over 17 years experience in higher education and being a certified member of Association of Learning Technologies, I have seen how technology transforms learning. But I have also seen the challenges. Students often engage with online platforms like Moodle in isolation, missing out on the power of collaboration. um, my research focuses on designing framework to foster collaborative learning within Moodle, making online education more interactive, engaging, authentic, and effective. This research is funded by OWSD. And why this is matter? Because the world needs graduates who can work together, who can think critically, solve problems creatively, and communicate effectively. This is particularly in the global south, where the access to the education often uneven and technology mediated learning is crucial pathway to opportunity. Coming from Sri Lanka, I understand the unique challenges faced by students in this context, from limited digital access to the need for more inclusive and engaging online learning environments. By enhanced Moodle collaborative potentials, I'm helping to bridge this gap, ensuring students are better prepared for the workforce and society. Beyond students, my work supports educators too. It provides them with tools and strategies to design courses that actively encourage discussions, teamwork, and shared problem solving, making teaching more impactful and fulfilling. A key part of this work is digital accessibility, ensuring that all students, regardless of their abilities or circumstances, can fully participate in online learning. True digital inclusion means designing learning environments that work for everyone, including those with disabilities, those with limited internet access, and those learning in diverse linguistic and cultural contexts. By prioritizing accessibility, we can create more equitable education experience for all. Currently, I'm working at the University of Warwick, UK, collaborating with colleagues on projects related to open education. Open education has the potential to democratize learning, breaking down barriers, and making high quality education resources freely accessible. Through this collaboration, I'm contributing to global effort to create more inclusive, connected, and participatory learning experiences. Technology should not just deliver content, it should build connections. And through my research, I'm working to bridge the gap between technology and meaningful collaboration, shaping a future where learning is truly interactive, inclusive, and open to all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anuradha. That was really interesting. And yeah, just I know we all saw during the pandemic, for example, that yes, we have these technologies for learning, but what we really missed is the collaboration and the interaction with one another. So I think that it's really important research that you're doing to see how we can fill that gap. So our next presenter is Ruhia Khanam, who's also from Pakistan. And she is going to tell us about inflammatory and stress responses consequent to monogenic obesity in children.
More
Uh,
about childhood obesity in Pakistan.
sorry?
I mean, more about the childhood obesity in Pakistan.
Okay. Very good. Okay, about childhood
Little
obesity in
generalized stuff.
Pakistan in general. Okay. Well, we know that obesity in children is a big problem that's increasing everywhere around the world, I think.
Yeah,
So certainly this is a subject we need more research on.
yeah.
So please tell us about this.
Let's start. Okay. Okay, so today I want to share with you the critical health crisis in Pakistan that is affecting countless children in my Pakistan, which can lead to the severe illness, early death, and the unavailable treatment option. This is actually a silent emergency. The child tragedy of the childhood obesity in Pakistan. Imagine a child barely 10-year-old and suffering from the early childhood obesity, diabetes, and liver failure, heart disease, and imagine their parents watching helplessly for the treatment and knowing that the treatment exists elsewhere but is completely out of reach in Pakistan. This is not a rare story. This is actually a emergency. Through my research in genetics and endocrinology, I have uncovered the frightening reality that the children with obesity in Pakistan is not alarmingly high, but also the far deadlier than the global estimates. But why? The consanguinity, the intermarriage in the Pakistan increases the risk of genetic and inherited form of obesities in Pakistan. In my studies, I found that the significant percentage of children with obesity have a genetic cause, making the treatment option not available for them. These children are not only gaining weight, they are suffering from metabolic disorders, early onset diabetes, heart failure, multi organ failure, and sadly, they are dying far too young. Families go from doctor to doctor hoping for answer, only to be told that the treatments are not available in Pakistan, and that is a tragic truth. These children would have received the treatment like the gene targeted therapies, precision medicines all across the world, but not in Pakistan. This is not like the treatments are not available for children, but because we lack funding, infrastructure, and the policies to provide them the proper treatment. But I refuse to accept this reality. I have been working relentlessly in collaboration with the renowned International Institute to map the genetic cause of the obesity in children and to make the biomarkers for the early diagnosis of obesity in children. But in Pakistan, I am publishing my work in high impact journals just to make the this issue to get a notice. But you know what? The science alone is not the solution. The research must translate into action, and that is why I'm just here today. We need urgent funding, like the medical infrastructures and policy reforms to bring the treatment for these children. The time is to act now, I guess, before the more lives are lost. This is a moment of choice. Will we allow these children to continue suffering in silence, or will we fight for them, ensuring the life-saving treatments are a right, not a privilege? I'm here to fight for them because every child deserves equitable healthcare, and this is a fight for diversity, inclusivity, and equity. And I urge you to stand with me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruhia. That was really, really impeccable timing for one thing. Very well done.
Thank you very
And
much.
wow, I really liked what you said about, the research is not enough. It's about
Yeah, we
like
need to take some action. Yeah.
exactly, yeah, that's
It's not about publishing the articles and to tell the world what we are doing. We need to do something right for them.
exactly. And I think that's why we wanted to offer you all this opportunity to kind
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
mm, train and rehearse yourselves in giving these pitches. And I mean, if I was a funder, I would be convinced certainly by your presentation. So I wish you great luck with your
Thank
research.
you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to our next presenter, who is Garima Singh. Uh, she is from India, and we have more members, more OWSD members in India than in any other country in Asia. We have more than 460 members, so I'm sure that there are probably many of you from India here with us today. And Garima is going to tell us about her research about the bioactive and antimicrobial potential of a food that I don't even want to try to pronounce, amomum dealbutum, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is a type of cardamom, as we would call it in English, or I think at least related to
Yeah,
cardamom.
it's white cardamom. Yeah,
White cardamom.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll pass it over to you, and you can tell us more about this, Garima.
Okay, okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. Plus, I got food poisoning, and for that, I was prescribed Sicily. 15 days ago, I got my hand burned while cooking, even though it was not serious. But an antibiotic was again prescribed so that to stop any chances of bacterial infection to that wound. Okay, this week I went for swimming. I got sore throat and swollen tonsils. And again, the antibiotic was prescribed. This is the common example of frequent use of antibiotics. But with the regular use of antibiotic, the bacteria gets the ability to withstand the action of antibiotic. And in scientific terms, we call it antimicrobial resistance or AMR, which is an alarming global concern. And antimicrobial resistance division of WHO has also stated AMR threatens the very core of modern medicine and the sustainability of effective public global health, which has put every nation at risk, for which sustainable alternative needs to be found. And for sustainable alternative, we have to look into our traditional practices. Since ancient time, each culture has had its own traditional medicine system like Ayurveda in India, Sen Nang Sao Zeng, a traditional Chinese text that records the use of medicinal plant for the treatment of infectious disease and maintaining good health. Scientists are in action to validate those practices. But more recently, last year, an interesting study was published by Lamir et al. In Scientific Report, where an orangutan was photographed self-treating its wound, where it chew the leaves of Fibroria tinctoria and applied the juice on its wound. After some time, not only the wound was healed without any sign of infection, and even the scar was disappeared completely. That is the healing potential of plants that lies within the phytocompounds. So plant-based solutions hold great promises against AMR. They are non-toxic and with very few side effects. They are cost-effective and sustainable. So I am involved in the work where we screen the bioactivity and phytochemical screening for antimicrobial potential of medicinal plant that are collected after consulting with traditional healers, indigenous folk, and published literature. Fulfill this objective to find an alternative to conventional synthetic antibiotic that can provide solution for antibiotic resistance that are sustainable for human as well as environmental health. Amomum tilvetum is a medicinal plant that is used in miso cuisine also, and it's traditional plant, right? So this plant was found in my studies that it possesses very significant antimicrobial activity, and the result was shown to have phenolic compounds like gallic acid, ascorbic acid, and flavonoids like quercetin, rutin, which are which have the correlation to degrade to invade the bacterial population by degrading bacterial DNA or by damaging the bacterial cell wall. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karima. I remember this gorilla that was in the news recently for treating itself with the medicine. It was such an incredible story. And I think that we have many OWSD members and fellows that are working on these type of traditional medicines and trying to, validate scientifically their properties. I think it's a really fascinating area of research that we're just beginning to scratch the surface of, probably. So thank you for telling us about this. Okay, so our next presenter will be Indira Parajuli from Nepal. Let's see if we can get her on the screen.
Hi.
Hello,
Hi,
Indira.
everyone.
Hello.
Yeah,
And
everyone.
oh, so yes, if I'm not mistaken, Indira is going to be presenting on ventilation in homes in the Himalayan region. Thank you. And yeah, we have also Nepal is a country where we also have many, many members, although not as many as some other countries. We have about 150. But despite being a bit smaller of a national chapter, it's a very, very active national chapter. And last year, they actually hosted the OWSD Game Changers workshop, which is a workshop for some of our early career fellows that will be now an ongoing project to test and develop a new game, a board game, to help policymakers understand issues that women scientists face. And the Nepal National Chapter helped to organize and host that workshop, and many members participated in it. So, yeah, we have a very, very active Nepal National Chapter, and I hope we have some members from there with us today. And yeah, so going back to Indira, yes, let's please hear about why the ventilation of homes is so important and what your research is doing to address that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, healthy ventilation, the game of my passions and hard work. A game changer approach to healthy ventilation, enhancing the health and protecting the lives. Ventilation, the nose for the house. Imagine if there is no nose, there is no breathing. If no breathing, no life more than 3 minutes. So the breathable air quality should be pollution illness that kills the daily productive lives of the people. No one can survive more than 3 minutes in the harsh environment like the too hot environment and too cold environment. The Himalayan region where people are burning firewood for the cooking and for the heating their houses without proper ventilation system. People do not prefer to use the ventilation as the ventilation sucks out all the heat along with the pollutants from the indoor space and the space become cold. So if we see the global scenario, 2.1 billion people worldwide relies on the biomass fuels for cooking and space heating inside their homes. The recent report of WHO claimed that cooking seems to have resulted to more than 3.2 million premature deaths. The reliance on the solid fuel in low and middle income countries throughout Asia, Africa, and Latin America is excessively high in the old scenario. The indoor air pollution contributed to 1.6 million premature deaths per year occur in developing country and 8,700 occur in Nepalese context. So 2 million children under the age of 5 die from the acute lower respiratory tract infection. So it's an alarming fact of the most of the Himalayan regions household worldwide, where the people are burning firewood inside their enclosures. It is not deteriorating the indoor environment, but also the poor thermal condition. So it needs to improve the indoor air quality with the heat preservation is the necessity for the current context. So the temperature neutral healthy ventilation not only plays a vital role to remove the indoor air pollutants, maintain the pollution free house, but also allow maintain the thermal comfort. Hence, temperature neutral healthy ventilation is the optimization technique to balance the indoor air quality and maintain the thermal comfort for the remote rural poor community via low cost ventilation solution. This is the ear shocking location that is the 15% of the ear is the system that helps maintaining the enclosure warmth and pollution free. That is not contributing the national goal, but also it contributes to the sustainable development goal number 3 by protecting the millions of people's health and just contribute for their healthy life.
Thank you so much, Indira. And I think that it's I mean, the numbers that you gave about the numbers of premature deaths that this issue causes is just astounding and very sad. And so thank you so much for, addressing this issue and looking into it. And I liked what you said about, you know, it's not that your research addresses necessarily just one issue of energy sustainability or just health. A lot of the times one solution can help address both of these concerns. So that's very inspiring to see. Thank you. So our next presenter is also from Nepal. She is Anjana Singh, and she is going to tell us about her research about the prevalence of anaerobic bacteria in surgical site infections in Nepal. And speaking as a non-scientist, I don't really know the implications of bacteria in an infection being anaerobic versus aerobic. So please enlighten us on this issue, Anjana.
Thank you for the opportunity. Mostly, I'll be talking about the antimicrobial resistance pattern with the surgical site infections. That is mostly that happens within the hospital area or within the hospital. In short, we say SSIs. And this is in the collaboration with the Central Department of Microbiology. That is my university, Tribhuvan University. That it is in the center of Nepal. And the work is being the sample has been taken from the eastern part of Nepal. That is one of the hospital. It's a tertiary care hospital, and we have divided the samples into two phases. First phase I would like to put forward is that in the first phase, every hospitals they have the antibiotics set of antibiotics that has been given for the prophylactic before the surgery is being done, right? So this they have their own set of antibiotics. So these set of antibiotics, whichever they have been taking, that we use it, that the patients has been treated the prophylactic in a prophylactic aspect they have given, and we have taken the samples from the SSI samples, that is from the wounds, that is especially the pus and the body fluid. So from these samples we have taken only we have studied, we have other part of also, but I'm not going to say here. I'm focusing only in the anaerobics. That is also the bacillus bacteroides fragilis, that is the anaerobic bacteria, which is really trouble causing. Most of the time it is in the anaerobic condition. So in total 641 samples we got, like 48.52% was that SSIs was we are getting the contamination that is from the bacterial anaerobic bacteria, and this is the first kind that we have been doing in Nepal. And we gave the suggestion to the hospital authority, and they have changed the set of this prophylactic antibiotics for the second part. That is the second phase I'm talking about. And in this, when we talk about the contamination of the wounds or the surgical site infections, when we studied, we got it very less. That is about 12.27%, which is drastically we have got the reduced rate. So this is really good for the hospital. Again, not only going for the phenotypic experiment, we have already also went for the genotypic experiment, and according to that we had found that there are some of the genes which is really resistant for these antibiotics. So now besides the set of antibiotics that has been used in the second phase, that is the drug combination also they have used it, and that is also giving a good result, especially the tazobactam and piperacillin combination, that is really working good. But again, when we did the experiment, that is in the human, that has been given in the hospital itself. But in the laboratory also we have done experiment with some of the other antibiotics, and also the drug combination of drug that has been used for the with the antibiotics and the organism, and we saw that this is working fine. And we also gave again the suggestion to the hospital authority that, for example, cefoxitin should be used for this anaerobic organisms. With this, we have seen that there are more of the genes which
I
is
think
really
we have to.
resistant with the organisms.
I think we
Thank
have
you.
to cut you off. And Jonna, thank you so much. It was very fascinating. I'm sure there was much more to say. Um, and it's really, really encouraging to hear that you've already had a great success and you've already managed to change this protocol for the treatment with some of your research. That's wonderful to hear that, your research has been translated into actual concrete outcomes. So congratulations. Thank you. Uh, Okay, our next speaker is going to be Sangita Ahmed from Bangladesh. And Bangladesh is another country where we have a great number of OWSD members, more than 300, and many fellows and awardees from there as well. And Sangita is going to tell us about the association of the vaginal microbiome with infertility. And I think both microbiota and infertility, both are things that we are just starting to realize we need so much more research on. So please tell us, Sangita, how are these two things connected?
Am I audible?
Yes,
Can
you
you
are.
hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, so infertile, a single word that has ruined and still destroying the lives of millions of women throughout the world. So infertile women are oppressed by their family, by the society, and often they have to face extreme situations like domestic violence and divorce. So in Bangladesh, infertility is actually has been recognized as one of the contributing factor to divorce. And I believe that the same situation is prevailing in other parts of the world as well. In being a mother of two, I can actually connect to the enduring pain that an infertile woman has to go through. So, my dear ladies, Assalamu alaikum, and this is Professor Shongita Ahmed from Department of Microbiology, Dhaka University, Bangladesh. And today I'm going to address this important issue that is not only a medical problem, but a social problem as well. So, as you may know, that infertility is caused by different types of hormonal, physiological, and anatomical problems. But recently, researchers have identified that another factor contribute to infertility, which is vaginal microbiome. So, what is vaginal microbiome? You may also know that all of us harbor billions of microorganisms in different parts of our body, including our reproductive tract. And research have found that if there is any change in the vaginal microbiome, or if there are some particular pathogenic bacteria present in our vaginal tract, then they might cause pelvic inflammatory disease, blockage of tube, they might cause different type of problems that are associated with infertility. So in other part of the world, there are many different research work going on this topic, but in Bangladesh, there was no such research. So that attracted me and my team to work on this important but neglected issue. So what we have done, we have collected vaginal swab from infertile women and also collected the same from control healthy fertile women. And we have compared their vaginal microbiome using conventional microbiological assay as well as by metagenomic analysis. And we have found that there is a significant change in the vaginal microbiome of the infertile woman and the fertile woman. And we have also detected some pathogenic bacteria that are commonly reported to be associated with pelvic inflammatory disease and infertility. So our research data is actually matching that data of the researcher worldwide. And this is the first kind of research from Bangladesh. So now we are planning to expand our work by engaging more participants from different parts of our country so that we can find out a signature bacterial members that might be associated with infertility so that our doctors can plan a treatment option and that can bring smile to our sisters and daughters who are suffering from ages. Thank you very much for your patience hearing. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sangita. That was really interesting. And it seems that every day we hear more about how much the microbiome really controls. It seems it's affecting absolutely everything about our bodies and our lives. So I guess that we all need to take our probiotics and eat our fermented foods and well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So our next presenter is Dachen Choden. I hope that I'm saying that right, Dachen.
Yes.
Thank you. And she is from Bhutan. And unlike some of the other countries, Bhutan is a country where we have very, very few OWSD members, actually only 6. So Dachen is one of 6. And so we're really glad that you decided to participate today. Thank you. And Dachin is going to tell us about the ecological preferences and regeneration of a tree species, a pine tree species that is native to Bhutan. And we know that trees and forests are absolutely critical to our life here on Earth. So please tell us what you have discovered about this tree species, Dachin.
Okay, thank you for the kind introduction. I will directly take you through my presentation. It's about preserving Bhutan's unique pine, known as Pinus botanica, and the future of forest conservation. So to begin with, do you know that Bhutan is home to a rare data deficient pine known as Pinus botanica? And that pine is named after my country, Bhutan, and it's nowhere else found nowhere else in the world. Even the IUCN categorizes this pine as a data deficient pine, and it's known as Bhutan pine and is an ecological treasure of eastern Himalaya. Yet little is known about its regeneration and economic potential. So, for your kind information, there's not much study conducted on the Pinus botanica, and it's kind of a neglected species of pine. So, through my research, we investigated the ecological preferences, exploring its germination, soil condition, and potential for resin tapping. Through growth hormone treatment, we tested methods to enhance germination, paving the way for conservation efforts. Our study also revealed that these species thrive in a moist, temperate climate, yet its limited distribution raised concern about its future. Why does it matter? Bhutan's forests are critical for biodiversity, carbon sequestration, and climate resilience. By understanding Pinus botanica, we can improve conservation strategy for endemic species like Pinus botanica, explore sustainable resin harvesting for economic benefits of my country, preserve Bhutan's rich ecological heritage for future generations. Moreover, my finding contributes to the global reforestation efforts and highlights the importance of protecting lesser known species in the face of climate change. Every species plays a vital role in maintaining ecological balance. Data deficient species like Pinus botanica is not an exception. The lack of information should not mean that we have to neglect this species. It should be a call to action. So, by supporting research, conservation efforts, and sustainable practices, we can protect these rare species because before they become endangered. Let's take responsibility today to preserve biodiversity, safeguard our forests, ensure that future generations inherit a world rich in nature resources. Because once this species is gone, it's gone forever. Join the movement, protect the unseen, conserve the unknown. Conserving Bhutan's forest isn't just a local effort. Bhutanese alone cannot conserve forests. It's a global responsibility. Together, we can ensure a green future. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dutch. And I really liked this message that you finished with that, this is a tree native to Bhutan, but it's not only the responsibility of Bhutan to protect it, it's the responsibility of the world and a global effort. And that's true of so many things, I think. So thank you. Okay. Our next speaker is going to be Tianga Shamini Talagala from Sri Lanka. And she's going to talk to us about exploring artistic legacy, analyzing artifact differences across kingdoms using machine learning. So she's a mathematician using math and machine learning to make discoveries about art. And this is what I love about working at OWSD, is learning about all these different ways that you can apply science to different topics in ways that you would never consider. So please, Tianga, tell us about this.
Thank you, Erin. Hello, everyone. I'm Tianga Talagala. I'm a data scientist and also an artist. Data scientist and artist might seem like very different types of jobs, but they are closely connected. Artists see patterns in shapes. Data scientists see patterns in data. They both try to tell a story about the world. Artists work with colors. Data scientists work with numbers. Artists use different types of brushes to deliver new discoveries. Data scientists use different types of algorithms to develop new discoveries. I strongly believe behind every mathematician, there is an artist. Behind every artist, there is a mathematician. Behind every artist, there is a mathematician. Sounds strange? Let me explain. Take a look at this book cover. You will find murals and wall paintings like this in ancient kingdoms. They are full of geometry, tessellation, symmetry, and even color algorithms. You can see they are not just artistic choices, they are rooted in mathematical principles. My strong interest in paintings and data science led me to think about how machine learning helps us to understand mathematical concepts rooted in historical paintings and artifacts across different kingdoms. I collected photos of thousands of artifacts across different historical sites. By analyzing visual patterns such as colors, symmetry, and compositions, we can identify unique features that define the art of each kingdom that are not visible to the naked eye. Through this, I can uncover hidden patterns that even historians have overlooked. This approach has a powerful impact, especially in the context of tourism. One of the major sources of income for our country is tourism. By uncovering these patterns, we can promote our rich artistic legacy in a new way to attract wider audience. This methodology could be a game changer, helping any country in the world to pitch artistic legacy on a global stage. This approach can also be used as a way to authenticate our artifacts. On the other hand, this is also a great way to promote mathematics and science among creative, artistically talented women. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Tianga. That was absolutely fascinating. I mean, mind-blowing, really, this overlap, as you say, between mathematicians and artists. And it's true, like I think most of us really think of them as two very separate things and two very different parts of the brain. But yeah, as you seen, they are very much connected, and the implications and applications of that are so interesting to see, like in terms of affecting tourism. So that was really a new subject for me. Very interesting. Thank you. And so we'll move on now to our next presenter, who is Tasina Sanam, who is from Bangladesh. And I actually had the pleasure of interviewing Tasina when she came for she's an OWSD Early Career Fellow, so she came for the orientation workshop last year in Trieste, and I got to interview her and hear about her research in detail, but I won't give any spoilers. And she is researching where AI meets autism. So using AI to be able to recognize movements and sign language that are characteristic of children with autism. So please, Tasina, tell us more about that.
Thank you, Erin. Okay, good morning, everyone. Imagine a train station bustling with energy, and a little boy, Ayan, is waiting on the platform, eager to board. But there is a problem. He doesn't have a ticket, and he can't tell the conductor where he wants to go. His mother, Rina, watches helplessly as other children board the train of learning, growth, and communication, while Ayan is left behind. Yes, I'm talking about autism spectrum disorder. Autism affects millions worldwide. According to 2001 Global Burden of Disease Studies, estimates that 61.8 million people are on the autism spectrum globally, about 1 in every 127 people. The numbers are rising, making early diagnosis and interventions more critical than ever. In Bangladesh, autism accounts for 19% of all neurological disorders, yet many children remain undiagnosed until school age, missing vital early intervention opportunities. So what if, imagine now an invisible system that could read Ayan's gesture and movements, understand what he needs, and hand him the right ticket, helping him to get on the right train, ensuring he reaches his destination. And that's what my research aims to do. What if we had something that is already around us, that is Wi-Fi? My research leverages Wi-Fi channel state information, an advanced form of radio frequency signals to detect fine body movements without needing cameras or physical devices that are intrusive for these special children. Now, how it works? Just like a train movements is tracked to ensure smooth journey, Wi-Fi signal can track Ayan's body movements. As he flaps his hand or gestures for 10 tickets, his body disrupts these signals in a unique way. By analyzing these disruptions, my system can distinguish between different movements using advanced machine learning algorithms, whether he is expressing his distress or making a request. Using machine intelligence, I train my system to recognize patterns and translate them into meaningful actions. So now imagine how this research impact the world. Imagine Ayan's development as a train journey. The earlier we can detect his movement and understand his signs, the smoother and faster his journey will be. If we miss the signals, his train slow down and even derail, making it harder for him to reach his full potential. My research acts as an advanced railway system using Wi-Fi channel state information to detect these signals early, keeping Ayan's train on track, ensuring timely support, and helping him reach his destination, a world where he is truly understood. So this approach is revolutionary, non-intrusive, and cost-effective, accessible, and making it affordable to all the people in Bangladesh and global community. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Tassina. And again, wow, very, very well-timed presentation. And
Thank
I
you.
remember being just really fascinated by this approach of using Wi-Fi that we always just think about for connecting to the internet, but we don't think about for all these other applications. The first time that you told me about it, so it's very interesting to hear about it again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's move on now to our next presenter, who is Hiba Kamal Nabi Hanafi from Egypt. She's our first participant from the Arab region today. And we have 360 members in Egypt, and we do have a national chapter there as well. And I think I've seen that we have at least a few participants today from Egypt in the audience also. And Hiba is going to, she's working on the area of cancer and its management, and she's going to tell us how she looks at that through the lens of medical biochemistry, and especially looking at the cell cycle and its analysis. So please, Hiba, tell us a little more about that.
Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to be part of this great event. Really, I am so happy and honorable to share with all of you my research that focuses on cancers and their management. As we know, cancer and its complications considered to be one of the most common health problems worldwide. Thus, it will be useful outcome to control its proliferation and metastasis. Through my collaborative research, I use numbers such as liver, breast, and leukemia, along with their drug resistance sublines. We focused on number of treatments, especially those originated from natural sources such as melatonin hormone and plants. Plants, for example, salvia and Patrangiva species. Our data recorded good promising results where we found an enhancement in genes and proteins that are contributed to apoptosis and cell cycle arrest. In addition, an inhibition in the oncogenic pathways involved in drug resistance, proliferation, metastasis, and inflammation. Interestingly, our research introduced an anti-cancer agents that are deserved to be tested. Finally, you can visit my ResearchGate profile with my full name, Hiba Kamal Nabi Hanafi, to review our research work. I also welcome with collaborated research studies. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hiba. So we have another example of someone using kind of medicinal plants for a very common problem, cancer, which we know is increasing, especially I think in young people all over the world. So a very important research topic. Thank you, Hiba. Okay, our next presenter is Prabina Raut from Nepal. Uh, let's see if we can get Prabina on the screen. And Prabina is going to tell us about remediation of cadmium from aqueous solutions using environmentally friendly bioabsorbents. And I know that cadmium is a heavy metal, I think, and certainly doesn't sound like something that we would want in our water. So please, Prabina, tell us about that.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Hello, namaste, everyone. I'd like to begin my research. Imagine one day waking up to find that the water you drink, cook with, and rely on for survival is slowly poisoning you. And it happens in reality when millions and millions of peoples are exposed to cadmium contamination, and it is a deadly pollutant found in rivers and also groundwater. Cadmium is a toxic metal which enters water bodies through various sources, industrial sources, the waste and the fertilizers, and even mining. And also, it it just doesn't disappear. It accumulates in our body, in our food, and also impacts our health, severe health impacts, including kidney failure and even cancer. So there are various conventional techniques, methods used globally to treat polluted water, but they are super expensive, super um, energy intensive, and also they are very not so impractical to the developing community like Nepal. And guess what? There exists a simple, affordable, environmental friendly, and natural solutions. And my research explore the rhododendron arboreum and Myrica esculenta leaf, native plants to Nepal, which helps in removing cadmium from water. How it works? The leaves basically are grind, crushed, and powdered and used to treat cadmium contaminated water, and this helps binds the cadmium ions and helps in removing. There are like several laboratory experiments and rigorous testings found that this leaves helps remove 90% of cadmium from water within 1 to 2 hours and in pH 4. So also what more exciting is that these bioadsorbents can be reused multiple times, and my experience suggests that it can be easily reused 5 times for removing. So what this affordable, environmental friendly adsorbents helps is that it could be one of the easiest alternative for expensive conventional method, and it could be used in real wastewater treatment purification systems. Lastly, I'd like to thank Nepal Academy of Science and Technology for providing me laboratory space, and my supervisor, Dr. Krista Prasad Joshi and Nili Kamal Kuzu, ma'am. Thank you so much. That's it.
Thank you so much, Parabina. Yeah, I think it's really important what you pointed out, that just because a solution for something exists, it's not appropriate or affordable or applicable to every part of the world, and especially in many developing countries, the solutions that other countries are using are not practical solutions in reality. And it's nice to see one of Atista's mentees, students also. Okay, so we'll move on now to our next presenter, who is Nusrat Binta Atik from Bangladesh. And she is working on the improvements of heat tolerance in wheat through speed breeding. So we all know that the climate is warming and we need more heat-tolerant crops, but I'm not familiar with exactly how we make that happen. And I confess, Nusrat, that when I hear speed breeding, it makes me think of speed dating, and I'm sure that's not exactly what's happening, or maybe it is. So please, over to you.
Wheat known as the king of cereals and holds second position in agriculture and human nutrition after rice all over the world. In Bangladesh, our local production is 1.1 million tons, but our national wheat demand is 7 to 7.1 million tons. So there's a huge gap between total production and demand. To mitigate this gap, we have to import around 3.9 to 6.8 million tons wheat every year. If we consider 32 years wheat trends in Bangladesh, we will see that production and area are decreasing day by day. There are several factors behind this. Among them, rising temperature due to climate change is the main factor. In wheat, when temperature exceeding the optimal range of 22 to 25 degrees Celsius during the anthesis period, the period and grain maturity stage, it caused irreversible damage. And also, late planting also boosts the issue. It reducing the wheat yield. And if we don't act now, food security will be hampered. To combat this, I'm working on developing a heat tolerant variety. And I use several breeding methods such as screening, molecular and biochemical assay, and hybridization. Accumulating these methods, I will develop a line. But what next? In conventional way, it takes 5 to 10 years to develop a variety. But if we use speed breeding, it can take only 1 to 2 years. So speed breeding is very good technology, and it is first used in NASA in 1980. And in speed breeding, we maintain a controlled temperature and also mainly photo period, 22 hours light and 2 hours darkness. And here we can get a viable seed in within 60 days, where in conventional breeding it takes 105 to 110 days. So we can get a variety within a short time on our global scale, and also for our country. It contributes to food security and climate resilience. So let's ensure no one hungry due to climate change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nusrat. That was really interesting and very uplifting also, I think. It's nice to hear that there are some very encouraging results in this field, and I don't know,
I hope so.
1 to 2 years seems quite fast in a scientific scale for
Yes.
something. Yeah, it's nice to hear some news that's not just doom and gloom about our future and food security. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is Zara Beyzai from Iran. And we have only 60 members in Iran. Well, we used to have an active national chapter, and I've heard rumors that there are efforts to get that chapter back up and running. And I've seen that we have lots of people in the audience today from Iran. So hopefully you can discuss among yourselves, and maybe we'll hear some news about an Iran national chapter soon. And Zara is going to tell us about diagnosis of inherited metabolic disorders in Iran and the challenges and advances. And we know that diagnosis is always a challenge in healthcare. So I'm curious to hear what are these specific challenges and especially what are the advances. So over to you, Zara.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. Imagine a mother holding her sick child, searching desperately for answers that do not exist. Inherited metabolic disorders, rare, life-threatening, and often undiagnosed, affect many children in Iran and also all over the years. Yet, due to the limited awarenesses, missing data, and inadequate diagnostic tools, these children remain invisible to the healthcare system, suffering without a treatment, without a hope. My mission is to change that. I'm a scientist working to bring diagnostic solution for inherited metabolic disorders. These disorders are rare, and the zebra is the symbol of them. These disorders are difficult to identify, but early diagnosis can mean the difference between the life and death. My research, in the past few years, my research focuses on implementing advanced diagnostic tools in our center, making early detection possible where it was once impossible. We worked on finding biomarkers in the glycogen storage disease, which are a group of the rare inherited condition that cause frequent low blood sugars, muscle weaknesses, and especially liver damage. There are several different types, approximately 19, and some of the which enzymes is missing, and each one affects patients differently. Most types are manageable with treatment if we diagnose them at the right time, a golden time. We found the biomarker glucose tetrasaccharide or GLC4, which found in the urine of our patient, which secrete in a two type of the GST, and we can diagnose these two, especially from the other subtypes, and help us to start the treatment at a golden time before the liver damage. This is not just science, it's the fight for life. It's the fight against the time. My work is not easy. The lack of existing data make it challenging and resources are scarce. But I stand here today, right now, in front of all of you, because I believe that the science should serve humanity. My research is more than an experiment in the lab. It's about changing the lives, one diagnosis at a time. With the right support, we can build a system where no children suffers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Zara. That's obviously an issue that, I think touches anyone's heart is sick children. So very, very moving. And yeah, it's very true. I think that, the stage of diagnosis just from 1 month or a few months to the next, it makes a huge, huge difference. So it's very important and wonderful work that you're doing. Thank you. Okay, we have two presenters left today. I know that it's even though the presentations are short, would you have many of them still a lot to pay attention to and listen to. So thank you everyone for staying with us. And we're excited to hear from our last two presenters. So next we have Richa Naveed Ahmed from India. And she's also working on inherited disease, actually. She's working on congenital heart disease, a multi-omics approach with genomics and single-cell data. So over to you, Richa.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you, Erin, for that introduction. So before beginning, I would like to thank OWSD for giving me this opportunity to present my research on congenital heart disease on this platform, and my parent university, Mohammed bin Rashid University of Medicine and Health Sciences, where I'm carrying out my work. I am Richa, a computational biologist specializing in genomics and single-cell transcriptomics. And my research work focuses on how omics can shape human health, particularly in early development. So now when a baby is born, it brings a lot of positivity and hope in this world. And do you know when the baby is conceived, which is the first functionally developed organ? It is heart. And what might happen if that heart is not developed properly? In that case, the body rejects the fetus. But if this recovery mechanism is not in place and for some reason it doesn't work, then the baby will be born with a faulty heart. And this group of conditions are called as congenital heart disease. So now, if you see here, this is a normal heart, okay? Any kind of structural deformities, like if these vessels are not developed properly, these valves are leaking, or if there is a hole in the heart, it can lead to congenital heart disease. And shockingly, it is not very uncommon. 1 in every 100 babies born in the US have this condition. So now heart, like any other organ in the body, begins with cells. The cells need to come together and work in harmony, depending on the instructions given by the DNA. So what if the instruction is faulty? What will happen in that case? Well, the disruption in DNA, also known as mutation, might be a reason for this abnormal development of heart. And this is where my works come in. So at MBRU, I'm working on investigating the genomics of CHD in South Asian population. And as an NIH fellow, I'm also leading a project where I have access to around 13,000 genomes of whole exome sequences from CSD patients. My aim is to identify the genes and proteins which are responsible for causing this disease using advanced computational approaches. So now deciphering or uncovering the CHD omics will help us in early detection, personalized medicine, and preventive strategies, especially for high-risk family. Imagine a future where we can predict and prevent CHD. So with global collaboration and rigorous research, we are continuously moving towards this vision. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richa. That was fascinating. And I personally had no idea that it was the congenital heart disease was as common as 1 in 100 babies. That's really a stunning figure. And so, wow, it would have such a huge impact if you're able to develop, a way to detect that early and hopefully prevent it. So thank you very much. Okay, so now we will hear from our last presenter, last but not least, who is Fatima Ahmad Fauzi from Malaysia. And Malaysia is a country where we have 100 members, but also a very active and very prolific national chapter. Malaysia has also been host to many, many of our PhD fellows over the years. So I know that we have a lot of people also from Africa and other Asian countries that have a big connection to Malaysia. And Fatima is going to talk to us about adolescent aggression demystified, predictive insights from biopsychosocial factors. And that sounds so interesting, Fatima. I know I personally at the moment am facing a lot of aggression from my toddler when he doesn't get what he wants. So I hope that you're not going to tell us that that's a predictive of adolescent aggression. But please tell us about your research.
Thank you, Erin. So first I introduce myself. I'm Fatima Ahmad Fauzi from Community Health Department, University Putra Malaysia. So I'm grateful to share my research today. So before going back to my research, have you ever wondered why some teenagers explode in anger while others remain calm? So is aggression a conscious choice, or is it shaped by something beyond their control? So adolescent aggression is often misunderstood. It defines as any action with the intention to cause any harm, injury, or pain to another person. It's a puzzle with the biological, psychological, and social pieces. Okay? So aggression in school has far-reaching consequences affecting the academic success, mental health, and even increasing the risk of future violence and crime. If we do not understand its root causes, we cannot prevent its consequences. So to explore this issue, I conducted a 3-year study among Malaysian secondary school students using a mixed method approach. So This means that I combined the quantitative survey to identify the significant predictors and with the qualitative interviews to uncover the personal experiences. What I found was eye-opening. From the quantitative data, 5 predictors stood out. First, students from Malay ethnicity, which may be influenced by the majority of sample population of the study. Second, excessive sugar consumption that played a surprising role. Third, positive attitude towards aggression. Fourth, students from low-income families. And 5, peer influences play the major influence on the aggressive behavior among adolescents. So, but numbers alone do not tell the full story. So this is where the qualitative part of my study comes in. Through the in-depth interviews, I identified 7 key themes that explain why students behave aggressively. Racial identity, excessive sweet intake, affective behavior, and cognitive components of the attitude, dissatisfaction, disappointment of families, socioeconomic status, and peer factors. So these personal stories actually gave meaning to the statistics. So showing that aggression is not just about discipline, but deeper struggling issues. So more targeted public health intervention could be applied using the study findings, such as implementing school nutrition policies and reducing the sugary snacks availability. Second, by introducing peer-led and family therapy intervention program, and also providing the targeted support for the low-income students. So in conclusion, understanding adolescent aggression is just like baking a cake. Okay? But imagine the quantitative findings are the core ingredients and whereby the emerging themes adding the flavor and depth of the findings. So by mixing both, we will get a complete and meaningful recipe for understanding aggression. So let's stop seeing aggression as just bad behavior. Let's decode it, address it, and change lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fatima. I really liked the analogy of baking the cake and how you need to combine the data from your research with the the interviews with the students themselves. Uh, and wow, it's amazing that you were able to identify like such specific factors like the excessive sugared tea. That's really incredible. So thank you very much. Okay, so we've now heard from all 16 presenters. Thank you so much to all of our presenters. And I think that, wow, I have to say it was really, really a very strong group today. I am quite glad that I'm not voting because I think it would be very difficult to choose just one presentation to vote for. So it's time now for the audience to cast your votes for the best presentation. So we're going to open the poll, and please take a moment to vote for the presenter who you believe communicated their research most effectively and who did the best job at showcasing the importance of their research. And we'll keep the voting open for about 2 minutes. So get your vote in within those 2 minutes. And don't forget that the top 3 presenters will move forward to the grand finale next week, next Friday. So your vote helps decide who is going to compete against the winners from the other regions. So Sahil has kindly put up the slide of all the presenters in case you don't remember their names. And we'll open the poll now and we'll see you back here in a couple of minutes. Okay, we'll leave just a 20, 30 more seconds for voting. Okay, we haven't had any new votes coming in for a while, so I think that most of the votes are in. So we'll go ahead and close the poll now and just give us a couple of seconds to calculate the winners. Okay, just making sure we have the right order. Okay. Okay, so we have the results of the voting ready, and I'm going to ask Sahil to announce our winners, please.
Thank you all for being part of today's exciting session that we have for Asia Pacific and Arab region for the Short Talks Big Impacts competition. Incredible showcase of research and passion, just wonderful. Every presenter today demonstrated how science can truly make a difference in our world, and I'm really surprised like how little we know about science and how many exciting research fields exist and how wonderful work is being done. So it was a very good opportunity also for us and also for all the participants to know about this fantastic work that the researchers are carrying out. Wonderful. I know that you are now waiting to know that who are the winners. So I will be, as Aaron mentioned, we will be announcing the top five presenters from today. And in fifth place, we have Tahsina and Tianga. That is for the fifth place. In fourth place, we have, no, I'm really sorry. I think I messed it up a little bit. We have Tehsina in fifth place. In fourth place, we have Tianga. And then
I think it's
it's a tie.
actually, sorry, yeah, so here, just to clarify, we tie. So we actually don't have a fourth or fifth place. We have a tie for second place and a tie for third place.
Okay. So shall I go with the top three now?
So yes, we had the Tianga and Tassina tied for third place, I suppose, because we also have a tie for second place.
Oh yeah, exactly. So for the third place, we have two participants, Hasina and Tiange, and then for the second place, we also have two participants. It's a tie between Richa and Anuradha. And the winner of the Asia Pacific and Arab region in first place is Zahra Bezai from Iran. So a big round of applause to all of our amazing presenters, and thank you to our wonderful audience for being part of this vibrant and engaging community. You have made today's session truly special. Thank you so much, and I am passing it over to Erin.
Thank you so much.
Erin, you are mute.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
thank you,
can't hear
Sahil.
you.
Sorry. Thank you, thank you. No, I just wanted to give you a virtual round of applause, and I wish that we could do it in person, but I'm sure that you know that everybody is clapping for you. Uh, so yeah, thank you so much again to all of our incredible presenters today. I think Sahil had said each one of you has shown that how science can make a difference and how important it is to communicate that to the world. And so so next week, as we mentioned again, we'll have the grand finale competition where the top three winners from today will join us. And since we had a tie for second place, that means it will be Zara and Richa and Anuradha. And so Sahil has put up here on the screen the slide where you can scan the QR code to register. It will be later than the session today because we need to find a time that works also for everybody in Latin America and in Asia. So it will be in the afternoon, our time here in Trieste, which I think will be the evening for you in Asia. And we really hope that you'll join us for that as well and vote for the final winners of the whole big competition. And yeah, so don't forget to tune in for that. And thank you so much again to everybody for joining us today.
So all that tied participant will be going to finals?
The top three, so Zara, Richa, and Anuradha. I think we only have room for three from each region.
Okay.
But I think we've already decided that we need to do more editions of this competition because they've just been incredible participation and incredible presentation. So I think this will not be the last one.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations to everyone.
Thank you all, and yeah, it's congratulations.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thank you all. Thank you. And congratulations once again to the winners.